Elevate TV, advancing kingdom lifestyle.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, our viewers, welcome to the Gigi Report. This is your host, Godfrey Gichuki, and I'm glad you tuned in. This is another exciting Friday evening, and we are here live on our studios, and we welcome you to join us for an amazing conversation today. I have a wonderful guest with me on the set, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy our conversation today. So let me first welcome our guest. Welcome to the show, Gabriel, Nyamu.
Thank you very much, Gigi.
Yeah, it's good to have you here.
It's good to have me as well.
Yeah, good. Excellent. So, ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be talking about living your purpose, how to cultivate a mindset of success. And I'm going to give you a little bit of an overview of the discussion, and then I will introduce our guest a little bit more. And then we get on to the conversation. But I also want to remind you that if you're watching on TV, we are actually live on the social media platforms as well. So you can actually go to that link and follow this conversation, share with your friends. That is Elevate TV Kenya, Facebook page and YouTube channel. And also remember to subscribe, all right? So remember to subscribe. In addition to that, there are numbers on the screen, especially 0719 666655. That number, don't call, but you can send us a text so that then you can participate in this conversation. All right. So we want to talk about living your purpose. Today we're going to deal with this issue of purpose. Now, we know that we all want to find purpose and a fulfilled and successful life, and as you know, it takes time, effort, skills, networks, patience to find success. Success is not easy to find, and there are all kinds of challenges in trying to find the path of fulfillment and success. And so purpose coaching, which is something that I'm sure you've heard people talk about, is one of those tools or system that support people in their journey of success. And today I have a purpose coach on the set. So be ready to learn, be ready with your questions, and let's make sure we get the best we can from our guest today. And remember, like I always tell you, the Gigi Report is a platform for big, bold, and honest conversations, and you definitely you don't want to miss our conversation today. So let me introduce our guest. Like I said, our guest is Gabriel Nyamu. He's a seasoned corporate executive and purpose coach with vast experience in purpose-led transformation for leadership and organizational development. Gabriel brings in, he brings together industry experience in banking, insurance, and development coaching. So he has that broad spectrum, and I'm sure he's going to be speaking a lot in those particular areas and more. So welcome to the show, Gabriel.
Thank you, Gigi, for having me.
Yeah,
Okay.
so let's begin from where I always like us to start. I always ask people to talk about their career journey and how they got to where they are today, or where you are today. I know I've given a little bit of an overview, so you can fill in the other gaps. So how did you get to where you are today? So that would be a very good place to start.
Thank you, thank you. Always a pressure when somebody is talking about themselves.
Right.
And try to account your life.
Yes.
And sharing it with others.
All
Because
right.
even Apostle Paul tells us that our lives are open books. They are letters.
Yes.
That other people can lead from and they learn. So my name is Gabriel Nyamu. I am a purpose coach, but before then I'm a father, and I am also a husband, a father of 3.
Right.
And it gave me a pressure also to play a role in the family. Just to give my brief background in terms of my life and my career, and also my journey towards purpose coaching. I go back to the university. I struggle like any other young man. When you're in campus and you're being told by Joint Admission Board, come and do this course, and then you're also listening to your peers, which course is marketable. You know, I was still just like the normal, usual typical youth. I ended up in university and I pursued a degree in mathematics. And what shocked me is that I loved mathematics and science, and I love science even today.
Okay.
But when I was looking for jobs, you know,
Right.
you throw CVs all over.
Right.
I threw several CVs, and the CV that got lucky, and I don't call it lucky per se, but let me use the word lucky there,
Yeah.
was in a bank.
Okay.
And of course, I thought because I got a call from a bank that I'm going to apply my mathematics in the bank. Then shock on me, I was posted in human resource function. HR.
All right.
So now these are mathematicians in the HR department.
Okay.
And you know what HR do? Of course, they will advertise jobs, they will interview people, they will do performance management. So I find myself here.
Right.
And my first 2-3 years,
Okay.
was a real confusion. Why? I had already patterned myself in a certain way, very structured scientific mind.
Yes.
But then here I'm now in a space where I can't apply a formula to talk to people, to deal with relationships.
Yes.
You have to be a human being.
All right.
And I think that's where now my convictions around purpose started shaping up.
Okay.
But let me give you a quick story, because a long journey. In my third year of employment, the bank was going through a process which people call restructuring.
Okay.
So we were downsizing, in short. That means we were laying off employees, and there were 100 plus employees.
Okay.
But because I was in HR, I had an opportunity to experience that process as one of the HR people.
Yes.
Now, the people who were being laid off are people who had served the bank for more than 20 years, even 30 years, quite a long time.
Okay. Okay.
I was in charge of the employee benefits. What those people do in the employee benefits, I calculate the terminal benefits.
Right.
So I was in charge of that section.
Okay.
So anybody who was being laid off through retrenchment, redundancy, their records passed through my desk.
Yes.
So I was calculating their terminal benefits.
Okay.
By that, God exposed me to have an opportunity to talk to these people.
Okay.
I remember I journaled. I talked to 97
Okay.
of people who were leaving the bank. 97.
All
There
right.
were more than 100, and
Yeah.
some of them were very senior. But 97 of them, I had a chance to talk one-on-one. And they would come to the desk or do for me a phone call, and they would kind of vent.
Right.
And shock on me, 94 out of the 97 I talked to, they were very bitter
Okay.
because they are leaving the
All right.
organization.
Yes.
So somebody has served for 25 years, 30 years, but they are so unhappy that the bank has told them, your time is enough, you have served us very well, you have a nice package,
Yes.
you can go home.
Right.
And I was young at that time, I was in my 20s, so I'm also looking forward, like I will also work one day, and I will also work 20 years or 30 years and become a senior person, and I can afford life and all those things, I'll be happy. Let me give one story. There's one lady who had served for quite many years, 27 years.
Right.
All the children were out of school. That
Yes.
means they were already working.
Yes.
Her children.
Yes.
We call them empty nest.
Yes.
She was an empty nest. She was living in one of the best estates in Nairobi, driving the best car. She was a rad road, learning several real estates. And because in HR sometimes we access a lot of information about our employees, so I knew the worth of this person.
Yes.
The children were not even, most of them locally. They were not here. They were working all over the world. And she was taking home quite a good chunk of what you call severance package, which is the last pay slip you're given.
Yes.
And I'm talking of many figures,
Right.
7 figures plus.
Yeah.
And this lady sat on my desk and she shed tears.
Right.
She told me, Gabriel, I'm happy that the bank is giving me this package. I am grateful, but deep within me, I feel I'm going home empty.
Right.
Now you can imagine a 3-year-old employee talking to a 27-year-old experienced person who was a senior person,
Yes.
who you can admire in all aspects.
Yes.
You want the best car. That was the best car she was driving. She is a landlord. She has investments. She's taking home tens of millions as a package.
Yes.
What else do you want in life? Go and enjoy. Then she's telling me, I feel I'm going home empty.
Wow.
I looked at her and was like, what are you telling me? I'm 3 years old in the bank. I have a vision. I also want to work. I want to achieve what you've achieved. And I thought I would be happy. Then here is a person who is telling me he's not happy. For the things I'm thinking, you've climbed the ladder of the organization
Yes.
to the C level. And you have achieved material things, but then you're feeling void within you.
Okay.
That is the first time I start questioning life.
Okay.
My experience now to start questioning life. What is it that can make somebody feel void in the midst of that? Are you a parent? Yes. Are your children, have they accessed the best education in the world? Yes. They're even self-sustaining themselves. They are working. You have all investments, quite huge, enormous investments. But still, you can't quench something within you that is telling you there is something you need to give birth. Now, when I started that journey, of course, that gave me the initial inspiration.
Okay. Okay.
And I happened to talk because of my HR experience. God was taking me there to experience the voidiness in the market.
Okay, okay. I'm actually going to hold you because I want to invite our guests, our viewers. Viewers, as you follow this conversation, I'm sure if you've just been listening so far, my guest Gabriel has a real shocker for you. Some of you, especially most of you who are at the early stage of your career, that yes, you can have money, you can actually work for some of the dream companies, and when it comes to your time to quit, you feel empty, you feel lost, you feel like you haven't had the real, that's really, you haven't connected with something. There's something missing, even though you've had very successful career and money is not a problem. So I want you to think about that, and please tell us where you are in life. Maybe you are in your mid 40s or 50s. You've already burnt 20 years of work and you're feeling like a bit confused. Tell us where you are. If you have a question for my guest, please share with us on the social media platforms. I'm going to be reviewing those questions with my guest, and I will make sure I share with my guests your questions. So please get in touch with us, connect with us. I believe you're going to enjoy this conversation. So already, Gabriel,
Yes.
What you've given is already very, very serious. All right. So let's go a little bit further. So how did you then okay, so let's continue from there. So you are in this now maze. You also now beginning to ask yourself lots of questions.
Exactly.
So this doesn't look like success,
Yes.
even though you thought actually this is what success looks like.
Exactly.
But you are now able to see what real people are expressing when now they are exiting a very, very successful and a good career for that matter. All right.
Exactly. So what that pushed me to, it pushed me to a process of discovery.
Okay.
I started seeking, searching, and looking for, as a believer, definitely I had to pray, God to establish for me convictions, guide me in that process. And I discovered that even my placement in the place I was working was very divine.
Okay.
Because if I approached it from how I had come into the marketplace, it would be very different. Because I thought life is just about like a structured system theory where there's input, process, and output, and you just connect few dots and you're done and you get to succeed.
Yes.
So, but God had kind of to distract me in terms of that theory that I had in mind.
Okay.
So I went through a journey myself. For those who may remember, back then there were not many coaches. Right now, I think there are quite a number of coaches, mentors. The concept of coaching and mentorship back in 2000, before 2010, wasn't that so much.
Yeah.
That means I had to go my own experience.
Right.
I started reading books. I read the Bible quite well. I actually did character study, Bible character study. So I studied Moses, and I tried to see how did Moses come to execute a redemptive plan for God. I studied David. I studied Paul. You know, I went into that process. At the same time, I started also listening to materials and content that will guide me in terms of the process. They weren't so much structured. So I remember, like, my fan, of course, was Miles Monroe, was quite significant in my life that time.
Yeah.
And I could read his book. He's talking about purpose, and I'm like, okay, yes, I understand there's a sense of purpose, but how can I get it and find it myself? So it took me a journey of almost 5 years,
Okay.
in short, to be able to have a certain rhythm in my life, that I was able to have a certain compelling conviction within me. This is my life journey.
Okay.
Now, in that context, when I started now searching, there's a way God also helps you to connect with either materials or people, or even sometimes expose you to real cases,
Okay.
of people who are living their life purpose. And when I discovered my purpose, that's back in 2010. 2010 is when I got a real conviction about my purpose, which even today I stated very clearly. It's that agency that God is using in the transformation of mindset for purpose-led generational impact.
Okay.
And that's what I do. So I started journaling my accounts because I was trying to go through a certain personal inventory, assessment, evaluation, self-awareness, many things that people do in self-awareness and self-empowerment program. So I started journaling, let me see what are the things that give me horianga, hori discontent. You know, there are those things that every time you go in a hotel, you are served maybe badly by a waiter and you feel ugly. I started questioning that feeling. Why am I feeling this way? I started looking at what kind of environment do I kind of attract within my life. And I could see most of the times, even when I was still unconscious, I was finding myself to places where I am this person who brings the big picture.
Okay.
So I go into a business meeting, maybe they are small scale business people, and I'll make them see the big picture out of it.
Yes.
So I started interpreting my life from that phase. I was still lost.
Right.
So I could still, am I a person who my purpose is to make people see big things? So I always call myself big picture man. Then on the other side, I started kind of also seeing, I also bring peace in a meeting or in a relationship. So people who are kind of in conflict, I'll make them kind of have a unified consensus, and they're going to reconcile and agree to work together. And yet maybe they were in disagreement.
Okay.
Then I started again seeing, could I be a man of peace? Now, all these are forces that are kind of trying to draw me into who am I?
I want to comment on that. I think the whole idea of, I think the key for you was realizing if you examined how your life, the things that drive you and inspire you, the things that you lean on to, then perhaps you'll be able to actually find those really are the things that connect with me deeply. So they must be related to my purpose or wiring. You know, that's the area where I can flow.
Exactly. That's one of the indicators. I call them patterns and shapes and expressions.
Okay.
Part of the expressions.
Patterns, shapes, and expressions. So I think that's very, very important.
Yes.
Patterns, shapes, and expressions.
Yes.
And those are the things you look for.
That's what I was looking for that time.
Yes.
I'll come back later now because over time now I have been able now to get some refined model.
Yeah, okay.
So that was then when I
Yes.
was trying to look life and trying to get meaning out of it. I will also look at my potential. For example, I did some spiritual gift assessment and I will say, yeah, I'm good in this and good in this. Now, as I was trying to look for that purpose in that, I got confused again. Why? There's an assignment I give people today. I tell them, journal for me all the things you can do. We call it potential evaluation.
Yes.
I found I can do 67 things.
Okay.
I got confused. So if I can do 67 things, so what should I do? So what happened is, and this is what I want to share with the viewers.
Yeah.
So I was trying to look for meaning in all these things, whether it's from the gift, from the talent. I did all that.
Yeah.
From the potential assessment, from my capability, including from my passion.
Right.
But can I say it wasn't very clear still?
Okay.
Because every space was giving me a huge space, what you call diversion. So when you have like 20 options, which one do you take?
Okay.
Is when I later discovered, wait a minute, I need to pardon myself in this journey and ask myself, am I fulfilling my purpose or should I fulfill someone else's purpose?
Okay.
And I concluded the purpose is given by who? God.
Yes.
So when I started discovering that this purpose is not necessarily, it's not my purpose really, it's God's purpose, but I am a steward. And what struck me is that scripture we talk about mostly, Ephesians 2:10, that we are God's masterpiece, created anew in Christ. But to do what? To do the good things that
Yes.
He predestined
Yes.
from time ago.
Right.
So the good things is the one who has fashioned them.
Yes.
Then I went to Genesis 2:5. I discovered a scripture there which was very foundational for me. That when God had created the whole universe, there was no shrub in the garden. And the Bible says, why? Because, one, God had not sent rain. Then, number two, there was no man to work in the garden.
Right.
Now, that work is an assignment. So I started saying, God, there must be then an assignment that I have to do. And this assignment is redemptive.
Right.
Nowadays, we call it our redemptive purpose. That's the part I want us to go to.
Yes.
This assignment is redemptive because if you read that scripture in Genesis 2:5, it says
Yes.
that there was no shrub in the garden. That means God had withheld existence of vegetation and forest and all that, yet He has created the whole universe because of only two things.
Yes.
That there was no rain, that is His part, God's part.
Yes.
But the second part is human part. There was no man to work in the garden.
Wow.
And I come to discover that what is that assignment that I am the only one who is mandated to do as an expression of God's redemptive plan.
Wow. That's a
Now where,
huge.
exactly. Now that's where the rubber meets the road.
Okay.
Because I got confused in what you call meaning and purpose. And sometimes we try to use these two words interchangeably, but they're not the same.
Right.
What I was looking for that time is meaning, not purpose.
Okay.
Because meaning is where you try to extrapolate situation to look for something good out of it.
Yes.
You can even get an accident, and out of the accident may be somebody who attended to. In fact, there's a case I have of a personal friend who got hospitalized in a hospital, and in the hospital, somebody who came to see him in the hospital later became the wife. Now, you know, that you can find meaning there, where you can say my hospitalization had a meaning.
Okay.
It was a connector to me to get my
Wife. Yeah.
So you can actually go through an ordeal, even an abuse, and you find meaning. We call it positive thinking.
Yes.
Purpose is not that.
Okay.
Because purpose precedes you. It is determined before you are born.
Right.
So to find it then means you have to discover it from the maker himself, the author of our life. And your assignment is mainly the obedient. So I discovered passion may not be purpose.
Right.
Because if I say I love adventure, so what?
Yes.
Is it just for personal edification? And who in the Bible did what they did because they loved it?
Okay. By the way, you know, you've just said something that has reminded me something I really wanted to bring into that conversation. Because there is an obsession currently with especially the younger generation with doing something that you enjoy. Okay,
You love,
something you love, something you are passionate about. So this is my passion. This is something I love. You know, and although there is an obsession, and so yeah, I like that.
Exactly, and that's where many people are stuck.
Okay.
I usually don't. Motivation speaker will tell you do what you love. I don't tell people that. And I come to discover because even from the biblical model, there's nobody who we can say they did what they did because they loved it.
Yes.
They all even struggled in their assignment. Now I'll take you back to my life. This is a structured scientific mind, a mathematician.
Yes.
Then God is coming to tell me, I'm going to call you in that space where I'm now dealing with the people to coach them, meaning I have to confront people.
Yes.
I was used to a computer and programs and calculations. I struggled transitioning from that structured nature to start now saying, now I am a people person. I have to relate, I have to connect with the people. I struggled with that.
Yes.
But I had to obey. But guess what? The moment I obeyed,
Yes.
passion started growing up, because passion is an energy that you burn. It is there already, but it requires some sparking. So purpose fuels, literally. So this is what you call purpose-led passion.
Okay.
So you don't start with a passion to get purpose.
Right.
But with the moment you obey your purpose,
Yes.
automatically, by that obedience,
Yes.
passion starts generating.
Absolutely.
Because it's a form of energy. So
Yes.
energies, you can play around with energies.
Yes.
So you can generate energy by convictions and persuasions.
Okay.
So when people are telling you do what you love, the question is, so what? Number two, what you love keep changing.
Yes.
Gigi, if somebody asks you what you loved when you were 30 years, and what you love in 40 years, and what you love in 50 years.
Yes.
It may be very inconsistent. So it means if you're following what you love, what happens is your life becomes, you keep hoping over.
Yes, yes.
But question is, purpose, if purpose is the intent, and we need to define that term well, purpose is the original intent of something, the why of existence. That means it preceded your existence. It was there before you were born.
Okay.
So it should change. It should not change.
Yes.
But passion keep changing, especially because of liberation, exposure, environment. There are things you love them because that's what you know. When you go to another occasion, you love other things.
Right.
So you keep on jumping. And that's what you find people jumping from one career to another, sometimes because they have a certain drive of passion. It can be very misleading. However, do you need passion to execute purpose? Yes.
Okay.
But that passion you require to execute purpose is passion that comes as a result of execution. When you execute, you generate the passion.
Okay, I will hold you there. I'll hold you there, so that I can now say I think I like what you've described, and actually you've really helped clear. For example, now we can isolate passion
yes.
on the side.
Yes.
We can isolate the idea of doing what you love.
Yes.
Okay, because that changes over time. Environment is a major factor. Passion, can diminish, but you got to get some job done.
Exactly.
So I think what I'm sure a lot of our viewers would like to hear is, how do you then find this real thing, this wire, this thread, that is connected to what God really intended for you, right from the beginning. And I don't know whether it is prayer, I don't know whether it's prophecy, I don't know whether it's, I'm just teasing out the possibility, but I'm sure you have a formula. You promised that you have a model.
Yes.
Wonderful. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe you are enjoying this conversation. I am really letting Gabriel speak so that he can share with us, the framework so that we can move systematically. And I want to appreciate Robert Israel Zoha, who is watching from Kamakis, Ruiru. I believe that, you're getting blessed and you're connecting with this. I really love some of the things you have said. And Rose Blessing is also watching, and others. Please keep sending us your comments and tell us where you're stuck. Maybe you're just following your passion, and perhaps you're wondering whether that is okay or not. All right, so my director tells me we need to take a short break. Okay. So when we come back, I want us to go to the formula, the model that uncovers, that purpose. And I believe this is going to be an amazing. Don't miss this conversation. Don't go away. Grab yourself a cup of coffee. We are coming back to this conversation, and make sure your questions and comments are ready. I'll be reading them as we go along. All right, so we take a short break.
Welcome to Kids Arise.
So God created man in his own image.
Today's class will be having a Bible trivia.
My sheep listen to my voice, I know them and they follow me.
The beginning, God created the heavens and the earth.
What did we say is like sand?
Is our earthly desires to want something that you don't really need.
A song of peace, declaring freedom.
I wish that my master could go to the prophet.
Now can the door be opened to you?
This day, Goliath, the Lord will deliver you into my hands.
Whoever does not love does not know God, for God is love.
right, welcome back. We are talking about, living a life of success, purpose, living your life of purpose. Sorry for that. And, the journey through purpose and cultivating success for your life. And I have on the set my friend here, Gabriel Nyamu. He's a purpose coach. So far, if you missed the conversation so far, I think you need to review. I don't know how you're going to do that, but you might have to go to the social media platforms, because we've shared very, very profound ideas. We've been able to separate some of the issues. Purpose is not about passion. Purpose is not about doing what you love. Those are not really the core of success or purpose. And so my guest is breaking it down. And so please get yourself ready. I believe that you're not going to miss the heartbeat here. This is getting very, very exciting. So let's go back to the conversation, Gabriel. Yeah. You've really expounded, like I've summarized for our viewers, what purpose is not, and how you even got into this quest, to understand what is my life about. So I think we are at the point where we'll be very happy to hear now, how do you then establish your purpose? If it is not passion, if it is not doing what you like, if it is not just the course you did in university, if it is not the job you're doing, you've watched people coming off a job, a very successful job, they had, the money was not the issue, but they still felt empty. They confessed to you, they felt empty. So how do you then lock into the purpose? Do you pray? Do you dream? Do you get a prophecy?
Yeah.
Tell us how you discover that.
Good, thank you, Gigi. Let me first of all take one step back slightly, just to demystify something.
Yes.
I call them 4 dimensions we can address in terms of purpose.
Yes.
There is what we call the universal purpose.
Yes.
Universal purpose means any created order, anything, the stone, the germs, the viruses, the trees. There is that universal, because we are product of creation.
Yes.
Anything created had a certain intent. God had a certain intent for it.
Yes.
So we can't say the whole created order has a purpose. We call that universal purpose.
Yes.
Sometimes when I talk to people initially, especially who are either spiritual or they are godly or Christians, in fact, they are the ones who sometimes are mostly lost in purpose. Why? They settle only at the universal level. So ask somebody, what's your purpose? To serve God. Then I ask them, who should not serve God? Everybody should serve God.
Yes.
What's your purpose? To glorify God. Every creation should glorify God. So those, we call them universal purpose.
Okay.
Very general, general purpose.
Yes.
Then there's what we call the humanity, a human being.
Yes.
Created human being in the likeness and the image of God. There's a purpose for humanity itself.
Okay.
Because this is the establishment through which God works here on earth. That's why he tells us, of course, the earth has entrusted man to tether it, to work on it.
Yes.
And there's a purpose for that.
Right.
And even for those who even don't believe in God, by the nature of that they are human,
yes,
there's a certain sense of humanity. They still manifest an expression of God's uniqueness.
Okay.
We call that the purpose of human beings.
Okay.
One unique thing is dominion. I mean, there's no way one day that antelopes or cheetah will dominate earth. Because only one species was given dominion, human being.
Yes.
Even during COVID, I was telling people, I'm not afraid. Viruses can never dominate the world. Yes, people will die, no worry.
Yeah.
But the dominion on earth is still entrusted only to one species, human being.
Okay.
Now, there's a third dimension, which is we call the purpose of the age. God also is God of age and time. You'll discover in history, different spells and seasons or generations have their own manifest and their own expression of God's unique purpose.
Yes.
For those who love science, why is it that during 18th century is when scientific evolution just blasted all over?
Yeah, took off. Yes.
God is downloading his wisdom on people and they're inventing things, which took us almost 300 years up to now that we are relying. Why we said things to the space is from work that was done in 18th century.
Yes.
There was a certain unique divine nature because God also worked with time and season and spells.
Okay.
We call that the purpose of a generation, or
right,
the age.
Yes.
But then the fourth one, where now the whole mystery is the individual life purpose.
Okay.
So people will not have an issue mostly on universal purpose, on human being, I'm a human being, or even generations sometimes, like now we have different generations right now. We can say we are in 21st century. There's a certain reason why we are here, because we are part of a bigger eternity. So every generation had over something.
Yes.
But now when you come to the singularity now of me as Gabriel is where the rubber meets the road.
Okay.
And that's why I want us to just talk about a little bit about that. How do you discover your purpose?
Okay.
I like, for me, myself, still referring to the Bible. There has to be some foundation in the Bible as an absolute truth that we can rely on.
Yeah.
One of the things I discovered is that purpose has to do with how you yourself also you are transforming to become, what you call becoming. People don't really take time to ask themselves, why were we not called human doing and we were called human being? What is the being in the human?
Yes.
What is that being?
Yes.
So there's something that you're becoming then. By that version of you becoming, then you'll execute the mandate.
Okay.
The assignment.
Yes.
Then when I read the story even of the story of Jesus, we know why Jesus came. Because in Genesis 2, Genesis 3, man fell and separated from God, and God started working redemption. So you know very well Jesus came to reconcile man back to God.
Yes.
But when he came himself, he never said that I have brought the way. He never said, I have brought salvation. He never said, I have brought it. He never said he came to do it. He said, I am there. Now that concept, when he says that I am the way, it's an aspect of becoming. So I discovered why God gives us purpose is because there's already there's a need somewhere at such a particular time that when you are born, you are coming to fill in that need.
Right.
God is using you for that redemptive nature to be able to come and redeem a certain situation. So the need precedes you.
Yes.
The separation here of man and God, which is the need that man had, is why the reason why Jesus is coming to fill the need.
Okay.
The whole thing, the hellest of the thing is a process now.
Yes.
You have to be crucified and all that. So I came to discover, wow, wait a minute. So I have to focus on the becoming. Who am I becoming? By me becoming, then I execute the mandate.
Right.
So that was the first layer. For you to be able to establish your becoming nature, you have to start with convictions. So what is convictions? Convictions are established truth from an absolute knowledge.
Yes.
We all know knowledge in the Bible is synonymous to light. That's why the word of God tells us we are the light of the world.
Yeah.
So which is this light that establish truth in you, and that truth activates you to be and to do.
Right.
Two things.
Yes.
The light establishes you to be, meaning you become, and then to do. I will give some examples of some people we can associate with. I don't know their spiritual nature and all that, but let me give them as an examples. Somebody like Nelson Mandela, for example, we can't say that he brought liberation in South Africa. He actually became liberation.
Yes.
And I want people to get that right. His life became the liberation. That means there's a very thin line between his life and the liberation he was fighting for. Wangari Maathai also, as much as they may not tell about her faith and all that, we can't say that she brought green revolution and all this green movement. She became it. To an extent, when she was dying, she said, I don't want to be buried in a coffin. Why? Why do you bury me in a tree and I'm almost a tree myself?
Yes. I mean,
what I want people to understand here is that persuasion that extremely push you to the version of you that you actually become that truth that you are propagating. And that's why the word of God tells us you are the light. You become light. He says, it doesn't tell us you are going to bring light. You are the light, you are the salt. So the first foundation is to establish convictions that are founded on absolute truth. The word absolute means unchanging.
Yes.
That can only be found where? The word of God.
Wow. Wow.
That's the first step.
Yeah.
And I want people to relate with this. Look like the life of Moses. Moses had a form of convictions before the burning bush. Burning bush was the climax of the commissioning. But if you look at his story, there before, he see an Egyptian, and you know the story.
Yes.
He killed an Egyptian because he was trying to touch, an Israel. And he killed. What was the burning conviction in Moses to kill that guy, that Egyptian? It's because God, by his own nature, had already started laying foundation of conviction in Moses' life that children of Israel need salvation. They need redemption. In the burning bush, it was the confirmation of everything.
Yes.
So he had started with the convictions first. And when you see all the Bible characters, they started with a sense of conviction first. A form of truth that activates you. First of all, you become and activates. We usually say this. Purpose is not necessarily what you do. Mm-hmm. It is the what you become that gives impact and redemption to the other people. And I'll give a story here. There's a lady I interacted with who is a public speaker. So you can say that lady, her profession is a public speaker. She speaks in podiums and conferences. And this is a lady where she go to the stage and everybody is on fire. She come here and everybody start jumping. She spark fire.
Yes.
So one day we were having this conversation. I said, okay, so why do you do what you do? And all that. She told me, by the way, Gabriel, in the beginning, I thought public speaking is my purpose. That was just a career, a container. I discovered I am a fountain of courage and confidence. What I dispense within me is confidence and courage. I'm able to speak to people who are broken-hearted, and I bring that courage, and people spark. When they were kind of sad, they spark off. So if you compare those two, is the purpose public speaking, or is the purpose what is happening in the other people's life as he does what she does? That's why the confusion is between career and business and the purpose, the intent itself. Okay. I met a gentleman who runs a boutique, and I give this story a lot. Yeah. Here in town, somewhere not very far from where we are. Yeah. When I went there, he had very nice executive suit for men. So when I went there, I told the gentleman, I'm coming, I want a nice suit. And he told me, Gabriel, I won't sell anything today. I don't have any suit for you. Then I asked him, but you're in business. You have a boutique, hundreds of suits. I can see them, and I can see some of them are good. He told me, yeah, I can't because I don't sell suits. This is a business person. He told me, I don't sell suits. So I asked him, what do you do? He told me, I dress people. Wait a minute. So you don't sell, you dress people. Dressing people is redemptive. Yes. Selling is transactional.
Wonderful. So I like that. My director is telling me we were going to take a very short break so that we can, when we come back now, we'll kind of like summarize, and then we'll take the comments and questions and stuff like that. So, ladies and gentlemen, you're following this conversation. I am telling you, we are getting to the real core of this conversation, and I'm very, very excited. Thank you very much, Wilbur Wanyonyi. You're following this conversation, and every one of you that is watching, those of you that are watching on TV, those of you that are watching through the social media platforms, I'll be looking for your comments shortly. So we're going to take a very short break, and then when we come back, we're going to come and sum up what we've been talking about, and then maybe field a couple of questions and comments, and as we conclude this conversation. All right, so let's take a short break. We'll be back in in a minute. All right. Okay, don't go away.
The School of the Prophets.
Your dreams can save your life or the nation. Your dreams can open you up into multiple opportunities. Your dreams can connect you to your divine helpers. Your dreams can be portals of divine impartation. That is why we want you to join us next week as we go into the next discussion concerning the dreamer dimension and why you should never ignore your dreams.
We're going to be discussing the things you need to do to condition your atmosphere so that your dreams can be divine, your dreams can be strategic, your dreams can be precise. Next week, we are going to make you know what you need to do to master God speaking to you through your dreams. Don't miss it. Same time, same place.
On Elevate TV, as we speak about this very important topic. Do not ignore your dreams.
right, welcome back. This is the Gigi Report. We are having a conversation. We're talking about living a life of purpose. And my guest here, Gabriel Nyamu, he's an amazing purpose coach. And so far, we've shared so much. So if you missed this conversation, I tell you, you need to watch, rewatch what we've just covered through our social media platforms. But we want to go back to the conversation, and we still if you have any questions, we're going to be reading your questions, your comments. Please comment on the social media platforms. Let's know what you think. If you have a question for my guest, I would like to hear from you. Maybe you're struggling to find your purpose, your conviction, the very center of what makes you really tick. And we're going to be explaining a little bit more here as we get this conversation going again. Gabriel, I think I want us to return to that story of Moses, where you're saying that the burning bush was not really the place where Moses found his purpose. His purpose could be, we can deduce his purpose, or rather, he already was carrying a conviction, deep conviction.
Exactly.
I think that kind of discomfort.
Yes.
He felt that time is up for Israel to live in this slavery, and for some reason he kind of felt like he had a special purpose himself to execute that mandate all by himself.
Yes.
And I can imagine even in today, if you can find 2 or 3 people that share a common conviction, you can move mountains. That's what you are saying, and that's how even organizations, big organizations are formed by 2 or 3 people, and they thrive and become world changers. Absolutely.
Exactly, that's true. And Gigi, what you will discover is this. When the word of God tells us that we are unique, you're very unique. You're created uniquely.
Yes.
You're special in a way. It's for this reason. There are things that you will see or needs in the planet or in people, in humanity, that only one person is seeing. That's why sometimes you might be 2 of you watching news, and one person get agitated and the others are like, what is the big deal? Maybe you see a child being abused, but one person in the midst there catch that, no, this cannot happen. Yes. Why? It's because you are unique. There is a way God has installed in us an ability for search for him and search for his purpose. It's very natural for us. Only that there's a lot of noise within life, especially because of something we call survival. Because we are being pushed to survive. So if you ask people, why are you working? They'll tell you, because I have to earn a living, praise a meal at table, pay school fees for my kids. When you focus on survival, you distract. That's a noise. That's the greatest noise against you discovering your purpose. Because it's about you.
Yes.
Are you created for yourself? No. You're not created for yourself.
Yes.
Why did you come here and live with others? Now, God will always set signals within everybody's life. I know you preachers will call them those Cairo moments and all that, which is okay.
Yeah.
There are some burning sensations, even holy anger, that will always burn within you. Number 2, there's one gentleman interacted who does some financial services. He used to tell me, Gabriel, before even I discovered my purpose in financial empowerment, I journaled. Do you know, I was always gravitating within people who are broke, who are miserable in financial, and when I even took my phone call logs, 8 out of 10 phone calls has something to do with money. Why? Because there are people who you owe that redemption.
Yes.
So they look for you.
Yes.
One actually pastor told me, Gabriel, I think I've been called in the space of drunkards.
Yes.
I go to Kisumu or new towns. I don't even talk. Whatever. Come and gravitate around me. It's like they are being attracted to me. Why? There's a grace you carry.
Yes.
Where other people, you actually are the one to dispense it.
Right.
That's how God works.
Yes.
So when God wants to give hope, he will put that hope through somebody, and that's past somebody, if they are faithful, it will redeem. That's what we call it, redemptive purpose.
Okay.
That's why conviction is very important. But there are 5 dimensions or 5 areas somebody, if you really spend time to explore, it is going to converge your purpose definition.
Yes.
But I have to give a disclaimer. You have to do this in a certain reflective mode, meaning in prayer, of course, because it's God who has your purpose.
Yes.
So you're going to him to clarify.
Yes.
Then, of course, look at patterns in your life that are able to demonstrate that. You can go to burning bush like Moses and get a big burn revelation. That's okay. You can catch it through revelation. You can catch it through prophecy, as you're saying before. That's okay. And I have no doubt. I usually tell people, if God speaks to you in that direction, obey. But there are 5 things that will always be constant here. Number 1, of course, is what I said, a conviction in you, that a conviction of a need in people in the planet that you are the one to fill in. You are the one to meet that need.
Okay.
Number 2 is a niche. A niche is a subset of humanity that you mainly impact.
Yes.
You are not called to redeem the whole universe.
Yes.
You have a specific niche.
Okay.
Number 3 is how do you impact these people? If you get your niche, how do you kind of transform them? How do you impact them? For myself, I'm in the mindset transformation aspect. That's how I transform them.
Yes.
Number 4, how do them themselves change and transform? There's what you do, and there's what them go through. As I gave the example of the public speaker. How she does public speaking, but what is happening to the people, they are getting kind of sparked in terms of drive, courage, and somebody who was giving up, they start getting kind of a self-assurance about themselves. We call that, what do other people experience as you do what you do?
Okay.
It's like when you take medicine, there's something you call active ingredient.
Yes.
When you take Panadol, not the entire Panadol is useful. If that part of it, you just release it out of the excretion. There's only a small component which we call active ingredient.
Yes.
And that's the core. Then, of course, number 5 is who do you need to become so that then you execute that mandate.
Okay.
If you reflect those 5 questions thoroughly, of course, we have tools and methods that we use now in that process, you'll automatically see a certain shape taking within your life.
Yes.
But I want to amplify again, you have to start from the point of establishing convictions.
Yes.
That's why now you have to be in the intimate relationship with God himself. Man suffers 3 things, and the struggles of man can all be summarized. Is who am I and where did I come from? That's a very obvious question. That means there you have to be in contact with your maker.
Yes.
Then why am I here? And number 3 is, where is the end of everything?
Absolutely, yeah. That's really, really amazing. I love I love the the summary that you've given, the 5 areas, and I'll be asking you to go over them. But I think I see. I think now we have a pathway, and it's kind of it's unfolding. So you kind of have to start from the seat of conviction.
Exactly.
Reflective, like you say, you have to reflect.
Yes.
You really have to, and that's why, by the way, maybe I want to give a kind of throw in something here. Life begins at 40. There is this moment somewhere along the way in your life.
Yes.
Before you hit 50.
Yes.
You become very uncomfortable with yourself. You may have even done a very nice career, but then you just get extremely bored and anxious and unhappy.
Yes.
And it's like, and people start telling you, I think there is something you are going through. And
it's true.
Yeah, because it's like you actually begin to feel, I am actually not doing what is deeply the real thing that moves me.
Let me give a quick story, briefly.
Yes.
Last year in February, I was in Uganda.
Right.
I met a business person running a successful business in more than 6 countries.
Yes.
This guy, I met him in a hotel where I was staying. So we were discussing and having a conversation. He told me, what do you do? He told me I'm a business, and then we exchanged, and he could see the company, very successful, multi-billion business company.
Yeah.
When we were talking, of course, he discovered I'm a papa's coach, so he started asking me about it, and I asked him, why did you start the business?
Yeah.
The guy went silent for some minute. Then he told me, Gabriel, you asked me a question which I'm struggling with. He's the guy who is in 50s.
Yeah.
Then he told me, I have run a business, but I was happy 10 years ago. Then I asked him why. 10 years ago, I had made enough money that my 4th generation can survive without me working, without them working.
Yes.
This is a business person, very successful. Then I told him, so if that is 10 years ago, you are kind of more happy. So today, then you are 10 times more happy because you have grown. He told me, yes, we have actually grown 10 times. The business now is in more than 6 countries. We've made out of money. Back then I had 40 employees. Right now I have 1,000+ employees. It is said chills to my heart, I cannot make a stupid decision to close the business. In fact, I want to sell it. Then I asked him, why did you start it? And he told me, that time I was just looking for financial freedom.
Yes.
Is that was the purpose? No, I'm looking for something else. I hope you get that analogy.
Yes.
Because the why wasn't clear.
Yes.
And if he started the business for his own financial, so when you receive the billions and now you're financially free, so what? Right. That's the voidiness you go through.
Yes.
So you'll find people even who have gone through whole apex of life, but they are battling. I speak in many retirement workshops and all that, and I see people struggling in 15. I say, okay, I have even become a CEO, I have been a board member, whatever. But there's this something within me that I have still not brought to life. And they feel there's a debt to pay. I
Yes.
call it the purpose debt.
Yes.
It's a debt you have to pay to your generation. The scripture talks about David. And David, after serving his purpose, God's purpose in his generation. What is that debt that you have to pay in your generation before you see decay? That's
true.
the purpose.
What is that debt you have to pay in your generation before you come to your your deathbed? And that is the key question, and that's a question you must ask yourself. And I think one of the things I'm very convinced is the case, that if you ask that question fully and with enough conviction, and you really want the answer. In fact, you might even hear God asking you, do you really want the answer? Because you won't like the answer.
I agree. It's not something you love.
Yeah.
I tell you to go to a place where you are like, wait a minute, this is not something I love or enjoy. However, when you obey, in fact, I tell people, when you're on purpose, the whole heavenly host and angels and everything else is mobilized to preserve you. That's a mystery.
Absolutely. Yeah. So let's summarize, read a couple of comments here. Gabi Mukasa here is saying, I'm greatly learning from Bodo Siaya County. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Gabi Mukasa, for being following this conversation. Jude Waidera, great conversation and an inspiring message. And Judy also adds that watching from Kandara, Moranga. Wow, amazing. Somebody from Bodo is watching, somebody from Moranga is watching. And this is amazing. And I really believe that each one of you that has been following this conversation, you have tremendously learned a lot of stuff here. And I just want to check on the YouTube. Just I don't want to miss some of your comments here. Let me see what comments are here on the YouTube side of things. Karen Kibuchi is saying, interesting conversation, tuned in. Sam K Inspiration saying, wonderful topic, and demystifying purpose, passion, and career. Good one. Purpose precedes passion. Purpose is redemptive. Business is transactional. I'm learning. Japheth Dennis Odhiambo say, tuned in from Chiromo. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Japheth. Caleb and Shinya TV. Wonderful topic. Very educative. Rachel Morevi here. Great conversation with my friend Gabriel Nyamu. Absolutely. So I really appreciate Gabriel. We have actually run out of time, and I think we have to do part 2 of this. And so I want you to look at that camera and just, in 30 seconds, just summarize and make a call. If somebody needs help, tell them what they can do, how they can reach you as well as we sum this up. And I'm sure this will be an amazing experience.
Thank you so much, Gigi. And thank you, viewers, for following us in this episode. I want to assure you that God is a God of intent. God is a God of purpose. And he has a good purpose for every one of us. One of my commitment is to make sure at least people live fulfilling, impactful, and transcending life. I call it fit living, FIT, fulfilling, impactful, and transcending life. And this can only happen if you obey and pursue God's given purpose upon your life. It is not something that is so complicated. It's only that life in its own nature has a lot of noise. There's push for survival, to pay bills and all those things. Now you're talking about hustling. It makes you block your ears to listen to God's heart. If you pursue God's will passionately, with commitment, and be ready to obey his convictions upon your life, you're going to discover that purpose. You can follow me in all my social media channels. I'm very active in YouTube, in LinkedIn, in Facebook, in Instagram, in TikTok. Gabriel Nyamu, your purpose coach. In all my handles, you're going to find me there. Feel free to DM me on those social chats, and I'm sure somebody is going to respond to you. And looking forward, and I wish you a fulfilling, impactful, and transcending life.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. We got to come to the end of this conversation. Thank you for tuning in. I believe that you'll have an opportunity to review this show, through the social media platforms. God bless you. Thank you for being my guest on this show. I am so blessed, and may you have a great weekend and a great week. We'll see you again. Keep it elevate. Don't never miss the Gigi report. And I'm telling you, you will continue to be blessed. God bless you. And thank you very much, Gabriel, for being my guest today.
Thank you.
Amen. And bye for now.